Please read the disclaimer. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom. Moneymakers, we're going to talk about XRP supply. Where is it going? What's happening with that? We're going to talk about the current situation in the crypto market, what we have endured in 2025, and maybe why 2025 failed, and what we have to look for onto 2026. We'll talk about yesterday's price action, what we can learn from that, and a little bit of the Japan situation, and someone that is partnered with Ripple a lot and is a very XRP big supporter is doing something interestingly with stablecoins. We'll talk about that as well. All I ask from you, I'm a simple man, is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smash that like button. Let's try to get 1,000 likes on this video. I know you guys can do it for Hanukkah. My video is a little bit late, I know, today because I was spending time with the kids and the wife. It's a vacation here, so the kids have no school. So what are you gonna do? I saw Zootropolis too. Zootropolis too. Let's get into it. Currently, XRP is sitting at $1.91, up 0.75% here. It's dropped all the way to 185, but now has seen a little bit of a rise here over the past 2-3 hours since the morning, actually. So it's more like 4 or 5 hours that we've seen a nice movement of about 3% here for XRP. Bitcoin at 87,000, Ethereum still under 3,000, and Solana still under 130, currently at 128. As you can see, lots of red here on the crypto market. The crypto market continues to be relatively weak, and the crypto fear is at the highest level or the lowest level. We're back in extreme fear, close to 1 digit. We haven't been here since November 22nd, where it was my birthday, and the price of Bitcoin was at its lowest point at 80,000, right? And what happened after November 22nd when we saw that extreme fear? We rallied off of that. Now, again, it doesn't mean that this time around about 16% in the week after that. It doesn't mean that we're going to see similar activity, but we've seen this happen a few times already. The market sells off, we come back, sells off, come back, sells off, come back. What is the factor here that I think that is factoring into this is that it seems every single time that we come back a little bit, people want to recuperate you could call it losses, or you could call it the not gaining, right? And so they leverage up with high leverage. And then what happens? The market pulls back and they get flushed out. And then we see these big sell-offs that happen. And once again, everybody's like, oh, I can't believe it. So the stock market might pull back a little bit, and then crypto pulls back a lot because of the over leveraging that is happening right now. And because of liquidations. In the stock market, you don't have liquidations. You might have a margin call, but even then you can close it, you can cover it, right? In many cases. In crypto, if it goes very fast many times when you have high leverage. So you have to be very careful with that. And you have to know the risks and rewards of leverage and be very careful, okay? I just want to remind you that everything we talk about in this video is just my opinions. It's what I am feeling, what I am seeing in the market. Of course, this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes, not financial advice, and you should always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very important. We get back to what has happened. I saw this tweet from Ron here. Now, Ron has a big platform, one of the biggest in the crypto ecosystem. He says here, it's time to acknowledge and admit the crypto market is broken. At some point, we need to admit that something is structurally broken in the crypto market. 2025 was the year all necessities for a bull market. We had liquidity, we had pro-crypto governments, US government, we had ETFs, we had Saylor buying a $1 billion a week. We had DATs, we came off a low base, Biden and Harris. We had nation states and sovereign funds buying. We achieved scale. We have silver, gold, NASDAQ, Russell 2000, all at all-time highs. Even with all the above, we are ending 2025 lower and only 20% where we were with Biden. I've seen many theories, the IPO moment, the trap liquidity, the 4-year cycle, but all of those seem like desperate attempts to justify a market that doesn't make sense. So, what happens next? We have two options. We discover what actually broke in and who is selling. When we do it, with hindsight, it will be obvious. I think I know who's doing this. I think it's because of October 10th. I think that it's still, that's what broke, right? I think that that messed everything up, and that hack, or however you want to call it, um, is the reason why for the past 2 months we've been stuck. I think that's the reason. And the gap, right? We closed the gap. But I think that's the reason. I think one of these big market makers is unraveling their positions and slowly doing it. But still, every single time the market brings its head up a little bit, they bring it back down. Okay. And they start selling. Or we have, according to Ron here, we have the mother of all catch up of trades, because that's how market works. They can separate from where they are supposed to be for short periods, but always come back to equilibrium. His hope is for the latter. And he thinks that we'll soon find out what actually broke also. And if you think about this, right, and CZ says here, if you were ever jealous of people buying crypto on the cheap and able to hold them through the cycles, think about what they did in moments like this, right? I've been through already, um, you could say I've been through all the cycles, right? Just, like physically, I've been alive for all of them, but I've known about Bitcoin since about 2012, but I've been following and investing since 2016, 17. And so I've seen the ups and downs. I've seen how people have reacted. I've seen how it seems like everything's over and that it's the worst thing ever. And then a few months later, everybody's euphoric again. I don't know if this is going to happen, right? Once again, but I have to think that what has happened in the past, something similar will happen in the future. Again, I don't know if we'll have similar run-ups like we had in 2017 and 2021, but I'm pretty sure that we're not going to, I don't think we're going to close the doors and say goodbye. I don't think that that's going to happen. Okay. And think about it. We've survived Fed QT, Luna crash, 3AAC bankruptcy, Celsius and BlockFi bankrupcy, FTX crash, crypto banking crisis, Gensler suing companies, yen carry trade crash, 3+ years of rising Bitcoin dominance, April tariff crash, and yet you're performing even worse than in a bear market. Being an altcoin holder is very difficult. This is another thing to understand and remember, right? Okay, we survived all this, right? Survived, right? But also, what we have learned is that people that were heavy in altcoins, right? Especially the ones that had the potential to go up a lot, when the market pulled back, they got hit the most. And so people that might not have had a quote unquote safe distribution, meaning that they had a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe XRP, they got destroyed on this pullback. Theoretically, they could be the big winners in 6 months, a year, if the market does come back and rally. So this is a time to think, how do we want to approach, let's say we're at the bottom, how are we approaching now our situation? And how will we approach if we do rally again, right? How will we approach the rally, the FOMO, and what could potentially happen? So that's something to think about. Again, I'm a big believer in diversification, but also in having anchors in your portfolio. And in my thinking here, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, these are anchors, right? And because of that, and because thankfully I wasn't highly leveraged on October 10th, I'm okay. But I know a lot of people are feeling it significantly, and I'm feeling it too, right? But I know that I've had in my past ups and downs in my portfolio where I've been at all-time highs, and then 6 months later I was in all-time lows, and then the next 6 months after that I was again all-time highs. And then so I know I feel this, I've experienced this, and that's why I'm maybe saying the same things over and over, but I'm trying to share my experience with you. Some people might say that they don't need it, that's fine, but other people might need to hear what I'm saying. And maybe the market continues to go down, and maybe you make decisions like selling, and maybe you make decisions like buying. That is, again, up to you. It's your decision, okay? But I can give you from my experience, and you can listen to other people's experience and try to figure out what you want to do, okay? Interesting, we continue to see XRP spot ETFs log inflows, so 19 straight days of inflows with no outflows, accumulating 974 million and pushing total assets to 1.18 billion, now surpassing Solana ETFs at 1.64 billion in AUM as institutional buyers sustain their positioning. We'll continue to have a situation where the ETFs continue to grow, especially if the price goes down. Actually, I think that people are going to be more interested in buying at lower levels, right? And then theoretically, people are talking about a situation where there's not going to be enough XRP out there in order to cover all of these ETF position, and that could create some sort of squeeze. We'll see. We'll see. That is the thesis behind many theories. But the question is, will this actually happen? We've seen the amount of XRP on exchanges diminish significantly over the past few months. And again, we don't know what the reasoning behind that is. Some say it's the ETF, some say it's people that are removing positions because they don't want to sell. They're anticipating a big run. Again, we don't know why that's happening, but it is very interesting to see. Also, there's also the option that people are selling their positions and that the exchanges don't need the same supply to back it up. Could be as well. Japan's SBI Holdings and Startail Group signed MOU to jointly develop a regulated yen-dominated stablecoin compliant with Japanese financial regulations. We know SBI has partnered with Ripple, is very big on XRP, and now they're going to start their own regulated stablecoin. So we're seeing stablecoin continue to grow and continue to basically, I think stablecoins, again, in like 5 years, you won't have someone that doesn't use stablecoins. Maybe not 5, 10 years. Someone that doesn't use stablecoins, like everybody's going to have some sort of touch on it, I think. I think there's no reason why, when you have instant, confirmation, and you can, pay, cross border and all that with stablecoins, I think that's going to be a big thing. The market structure bill has not going to come in 2025. We talked about it. It seems it's going towards 2026. And we'll see how that plays out. I think actually that is one of the dominoes for Jay Claver's things. I think he says here 3 more to go: oil spikes, BlackRock ETF holding XRP, and the Epstein, the EDOCs, right, are released. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. This I don't think is going to happen. This maybe, and this could be, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very, very interesting. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description down below. Did we get 1,000 likes on this video? I know you guys can do it. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time.